Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Jace from Jason's House of Fun and Video Games. Bringing you today a very special update to the House of Fun and Video Games. So I haven't been on here much for the last 3 weeks, I think it's been, since I've done an upload, and there's a couple different reasons why. As you can imagine, the current health crisis that not only my state but the rest of the world is going through right now is obviously something that weighs heavy. And obviously with that and the industry that I'm in for my professional career, there's a lot of things that need to be sacrificed. One of them was time. Next up, the game room. What's going on with that? Well, game room is still not done, still not ready. We're going through the steps and the stages. We've hit a certain roadblock right now, and I'll get into that in a few minutes. First and foremost, before we get into any of the other news that I wanted to share with you and some updates, I hope that you and everybody else out there is safe and being with your families. That is very important during times like this. This is a crisis that most of the people in my generation, and maybe a few before, have never faced before. There's been other similar crises in regards to health crises that I have been through, but nothing to this magnitude. I don't claim to be an expert on the topic of the health crisis. I don't expect you to think that I know anything, just like, the next person, looking over to your shoulder, because I don't. But what I can tell you is what I'm doing is just being safe and doing what's best for my family. And that's all I can say about that. And you need to all take a long, hard look in the mirrors and make the decisions that best go for you. And I wish you all well. And I hope that everybody continues to be safe in this time where there's a lot of different things that are probably going through a lot of people's minds. The other thing that I wanted to give you an update on is obviously a big part of the channel, at least recently, has been thrift time and finds. It's something that's done really good for the channel. I think people really enjoy seeing what kind of nonsense that I come up with. There's some great finds. That's been permanently, at least for the time being, semi-permanently I should say, put on hold. The local Goodwill that I go to is no longer open and will not be in operation for at least the next 2 weeks. I believe that's what most of them are going through. I think some of the Sabres might still be open. There might be some other places to go, but in all honesty, it's not the decision that is best for me and my family to be going out there and, any more than I have to be. So really all I'm doing alone with my girlfriend Cynthia is we're just going out to get essentials, and that's it. We're just being safe, and that's our decision. I don't want to ever put that on anybody else, on what you feel you should or should not do. That is a decision you have to make, like I said at the beginning of this video. So with all that being said, there's a pretty big update, and it's very difficult to bring this up. And I questioned back and forth over the last few days that this is something I really wanted to bring to the channel and have people think about, because it's not easy. A couple of days ago, I don't even know, because my world is been in a different world, been in a different place, and I've been going through a lot of emotions. But I feel that I have to share this story with you folks, not for views or likes or comments or subs, but I want to be able to share my story with you that I'm about to tell you for a very good reason. To know that no matter what we go through, no matter what nonsense is going on in the world, whether it be a health crisis, whether it be your own personal crisis, pure will always get you to make it to the next day. Only you have the choice to do that. And that's the choice I make every day now. tried to not do this on my channel, but like I said, I hope that it positively impacts whoever's watching it, and to know that there is, after every dark day, there's a bright day after that. You need to just keep positive and keep moving forward for the ones you love, whether it be family, friends, or whoever. My mother has been suffering with a genetic disorder known as Huntington's disease. It's similar to Parkinson's. It's not very common. It's a very rare disease, but like any genetic diseases, it has its consequences, as do most. And a few days ago, almost a week ago now, my mom hasn't been doing so well. Tried to spend as much time as I could with her, and then I think it was this past Tuesday, I can't even remember, I got a call on my way to my job, and they said that my mom was really not doing well, and they weren't sure on how long she was going to be able to live for. I thought that was a very difficult conversation to have, but obviously much more difficult things were in front of me to go through, along with my mother. So I waited until the manager could get in, and my store manager did. I told her what was going on, and I said that I have to go visit my mom. I have to be with my mom. She's dying. Sorry. So, with that being said, obviously, like most people would know, that the right thing to do was to let their employee go. So, thank you to my company for doing that for me. It means the world to me. That there was no question, there was no thinking, anything like that. But I'll tell you, those 45 minutes were the longest 45 minutes of my life. And I got to go see my mom shortly after. We got to spend some time together while she was still aware. And she, liked to watch a lot of TV and a lot of movies. She was pretty close to being bedridden at that point, if not she already was. And we watched some nice movies. And then we ended with Family Feud, one of her favorite shows she liked to watch, along with her soaps and Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy and stuff like that. This was something I wanted to face alone, and that's a downfall that I have as a person. I like to try to do things on my own, and sometimes you need somebody there with you. My cousin was kind enough to call me as the day went on and the end-of-life process began. And we talked for a while, and she, after a very long time being at her job, working her buns off, said that I'm going to come in with you, and I'm going to help you get through it, along with a couple other family members. Obviously, with the constraints that are going on in the world, not even a priest could come in to read my mother the last rites, and I'm not going to talk too much of my religious beliefs or religion in general, but it's something that my grandmother wanted for her. I know that. Unfortunately, that wasn't a possibility because of our current health crisis. So as the hours went on, I got to, with my family, tell my mom everything that I wanted to tell her. And just let her know that I was there for her, and that I loved her, and I'll always be there for her. And I won't get into too much detail in regards to the rest of it, but I got a gift. I got to spend the last moments of my mom's life with her. At the end, she was going off of pure willpower. She wanted to know her son was going to be okay. And she left when she knew it was time. But that moment will be a moment that sticks in my mind forever. The end of life is part of life, and is not something that can be experienced by everybody. It is a very difficult thing. I had a lot of contemplations on how I wanted to handle it and what I wanted to do. Could I actually be there to see my mom pass? The right thing to do by her is to stick by her side for me, not for anybody else. I want to make this very clear. This isn't a how to deal with somebody you care about dying, because it's not. I want to share my experience with you and let you make your own choices, because that's the wonderful thing about being a person, is that we have, no matter what, at the end of the day, a choice to live, a choice to do whatever we want to do. I made that choice, me and me only. And of course the inevitable happened, and my mother's no longer here. She doesn't have to suffer anymore. She's peaceful. I still feel her. I always will. I don't want you watching this, or anyone, to ever think that you should think anything of this other than a lesson. Sometimes you have to make very difficult decisions and think of somebody else other than your own self and what's best for them. And when you are faced with one of those decisions, whether it's an end-of-life decision, whether it's a life or death decision, you gotta think long and hard to do the right thing. And at times like this, with everything going on in the world, you have to make a choice, whether it's right or wrong. It's your choice, and you should always try to do what's best, what you think is best. And although this is a very difficult thing to bring up, and I debated on whether I wanted to, I did, because I want to spread that awareness that you can get through anything. My mother, at the end of her life, had pure will. That's all she was living off of. Pure will to live. And when it was time, she knew it. But unfortunately, the ones that are left behind are the ones that must carry that with them. I carry that with me with pride. I love my mother very much. I love my family very much, and I'm very appreciative that they were there for me, even though at some points I thought I could do this on my own. I still consider myself a strong human being. And with that being said, that would explain a lot of why there hasn't been much content on the channel. With the obvious things with the game room and construction and life, and of course my mother's passing. It's been very difficult for me. I do plan on bringing some sort of content to the channel at some point. I just don't know how, because all my stuff's kind of bundled up, and just got the GoPro and was having a lot of fun with that. But you know, that's life. We've got to go ahead and move forward, and you know, I've got a lot to think about. I think I'm gonna need another week, at least, if not longer. But I'll be back. I'll be back to bring some awesome content, and that will lead to great conversations. The only thing that I will tell you is this: my experience has changed me, not for the bad, but for the good. I say it once more, and I'll say it again. I saw a person at the end of their life that I cared about very much, with a pure will to live, and know when it was time to not. And she gave me that gift. The gift I gave her was she wasn't alone. She did not have to go on what her journey was next without me. So with all that being said, this has been a very difficult video to shoot. I contemplated it back and forth on whether I should or not, because I want to try to keep my personal life to myself as much as I can, but I think that somebody will watch this in going through something, whether it's similar or just having a bad day. Remember my final words. Pure will get you through anything. There is no obstacle that will ever be an obstacle for long if you put your mind to it. And I'm not trying to be an inspirational speaker here. I never claimed to be that. But I can offer my opinion and hope that some of the folks that watch this take something out of it, mold it into their own. But at the end of the day, what you do in life is your choice. And that's the beauty of life, isn't it? Choice. My mom is now free. And she told me in her own way, "You're okay. You must move forward. And never forget." And I won't. She's with me today. She's with me every day. With all that being said, I hope that you all are very safe. Make good, sound decisions for you and your families. Listen to the facts and don't pay attention to the nonsense out there, because there's plenty of it. Make the decisions that are best for you and your family. Choice is your ultimate attribute. I appreciate you spending this time with me. If you have any comments or anything you want to say, obviously drop them down below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because once we get back on track in life, I plan on bringing some great content, and hopefully will lead to some great conversations. But until then, stay safe. Make good, sound decisions for you and your family, and look forward to what comes next. This is Jason from Jason's House of Fun and Video Games. Hope you have a wonderful day, and hold your loved ones close to you. The day may come when you can. Take care.